It was a rancho. My father was a farm worker. My family was farm workers, and I grew up in the grape vineyards, in the orchards, and I worked. I worked the grapes, the tomatoes, the pears, and worked livestock and stuff like that as a young kid. So my upbringing has been all campesina, all campesina. And then my parents were directly from Mexico, so they were migrant farm workers, and that was my early background. But the thing that struck out most in my mind is that the freedom of being out in the open. Is when we worked in the campus, it was just you're always so free. You're never congested by city streets and cars and noise and stuff like that. And so there, my early childhood was really, I always look back at it as one of the most fantastic times of my life, because there's where all the influences of myself as an artista came from. I remember my older brother, Kiko, Frank, he was doing cartoon. He's about 10, 12 years older than me. And I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, by the way, so we're a very large family. He was doing cartooning, just kind of, taking, I guess in high school or something, he was doing cartooning, and I always liked his cartoons. So I was about 8 years old, I guess, when I first really started noticing him. And I kept thinking, God, maybe I could do that, I thought, gee, that looks real easy. So I tried it, tried a couple of times and kind of, not too good results. And I kept trying. And finally I got to a point where I could draw cartoons exactly like he did it. And so somewhere around the time when I was about 10, 11, right around that age, I saw a book, and it was Arte from Mexico. And I saw the work of Rivera and Siqueiros and all those people, and I just flipped. My little mind at that point just went, It was like a skyrocket lighting up my mind. And then at about the same time, I saw a book also of Michelangelo, and then the sculptor Rodin. So all those people, and I saw a Dali's work, and I saw all those people's work, and it just fired my imagination. So in those early days, my mother, when she'd come home from the carnicero, the wrapping paper, the butcher paper, the wrapping paper for the meat, I would bag it. I'd just get it, go to my room, and just start drawing these masterpieces that I had in front of me in the art books, And I remember that one of my first real good drawings where I felt I had made a breakthrough from just childlike scribbling to doing arte was somewhere around about 12. I set a task that it was one of Michelangelo's paintings that I wanted to copy it exactly the way he did it to the best of my ability, and I did it, and it blew me out. It just blew me right out. It's like all the modeling, all the shading, and all the proportions of the figure and everything, and the likeness of the painting. So I just got fired up, and it took me a while to do it, but when I pulled it off, it blew my mind, because at that point then I made up my mind that, well, this is easy. Well, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't that hard like I thought art was really. You had to be a super technician, which I found out later you have to be. But that came later in my development. But then I started looking at the works of Siqueiros, and then the masters, the Mexicano masters, and the works, the kind of works they were doing, the whole revolution and all that inspired me more, because as a young person, as a young child, every year at the end of the cosecha, my father would pack up, my mother and my father would pack us all up, load us in the station wagon, and we'd go to Mexico for 3 months.